It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It is a brand new month. All right, June, my June babies, stand up. Come on, Geminis, Cancers, Geminis, stand up. You're up now. Cancers, get ready, because you're up next. Us Tauruses, we still, those May babies and Tauruses, we do the damn thing 24/7, 365. All right, everybody, I hope you had a great weekend, the Geno Jones Show. Now, I'll come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, let me give you a programming note from the very top. Live show this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This Thursday and Friday. Next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday. 5 days. So this Thursday, this Friday, next Monday, a week from today, next Tuesday, and next Wednesday. The best of the Geno Jones Show. So come here 6:30 or come to my channel anytime. Subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. Come to my channel and binge watch your favorite episodes. It's the best of the Geno Jones Show. So no live show this Thursday and Friday, and a week from today, next Monday, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, and then we'll be back live on Thursday, June 12th. But I will do a live show today, of course. I'm here now. Tomorrow and this Wednesday, live shows. So spread the word. Hey, Rosalind and Great Hustle, I see you. What's going on there, ladies? Checking in early. By the way, the show is interactive. Okay? Show's interactive. So you can you can either join a conversation, you could start a conversation in the chat room. My executive producer, my number one fan, my mother's usually in this, she'll be in this shortly. So, and spread the word for me. And I want to invite everybody that's watching, business owner, entrepreneur, those who work in the corporate world, no matter wherever, small business, large, local, state, national, global, doesn't matter. I want to invite you to join the Geno Jones Show family by becoming a sponsor or an advertiser. Let me help you grow your business. I have a great audience. We speak truth to power. So listen, I use entertainment, I use humor to inspire, to empower, to educate, to enlighten, to inform, inspire, to uplift, to be the wind beneath the wings for our culture and community specifically, but for humanity in general, because we're all we got. But the truth is, we are all we need. We come together like the Avengers, like the Black Avengers. But everybody else, that's about truth and justice and fairness and anti-racist, anti-bigotry, anti-hate in all of its forms. That's not about misogyny and sexism and patriarchy. Come on, y'all can join us too, because this race thing, this race construct is really a con game, because it was made up by some folks, small handful of folks. They had a lot of money. They had a lot of political power, social power, and wanted to control and dominate resources when it comes to just natural resources, financial resources, political power and resources, so they could enrich themselves and make themselves rich. Hatred and bigotry and fear and misogyny and sexism has always been big business, and it still is today. You see what's happening? I digress. That's been a monologue of mine many nights in the last, or afternoons over the last 4.5 years. So we'll get back to that. Let me kick. Oh, by the way, hey, listen, Great Hustle, I don't know when you're going to jump out of there. I want you to, Great Hustle 843, she's one of my viewers. We always get into it on social media. I want you to email me. I'm giving everybody My email address is genojonesshow@gmail. genojonesshow@gmail. By the way, for those who would like to financially support my media company, more important, support this show and my channel here on YouTube, I invite you to do that, please. It is so important that we support Black-owned media because nobody's going to tell our story better than us. So you can support the show financially a couple ways, along with being a sponsor or advertiser. You can reach me, genojonesshow@gmail. So Zelle, you can Zelle my company. Just go to Zelle, type in Geno Jones, and then you send it, because usually two ways. When you Zelle money, they ask for either a phone number or email address. So when you go to Zelle and you're about to send your financial contribution or gift, use my email address, genojonesshow. That's how you spell it without the genojonesshow@gmail. Or you can cash at me, $Dad G Jones. It's all one word. My oldest daughter, Boogie, created that Cash App address for me. So it's $capital D like Daddy, lowercase a like Apple, lowercase d like David, capital G like Geno, capital J like Jones, lowercase o like Oprah, lowercase n like Nanette, lowercase e like Elephant, lowercase s like Sam, $Dad G Jones. But Great Hustle 843, send me your contact information to my email address. Email me your contact information, because I'm going to be calling your bluff soon, young lady. I'll have that conversation with you off camera. So let me start off the show. Like I said, it is a brand new day. It is a brand new week. It's a brand new month. June, babies. It's your time to shine. Speaking of new, somebody said, no, she ain't having a new baby, because the internet has been on fire. You know, the gossip internet. Sometimes some stuff you just need to kind of pour, some cold water on the fire, the flames. So Vanessa Bryant, Kobe wife's widow, said, hold on, y'all, because I don't know how or where this rumor started. But really, over the weekend, it blew up like, Vanessa, Kobe's widow. Is she pregnant? Who's she kicking it with? How can she? So y'all just, you know what? Y'all need to live y'all best life and leave this woman alone. So I guess Vanessa said, look, enough. So she basically posted something on Instagram. So it was funny. So what she did first, she took a meme. So a meme is like a picture of somebody that people kind of screen grab it. So there's a meme of Rihanna giving folks the middle finger. That salute. So she took that meme of Rihanna flipping the middle finger up, and then she said, listen, this is the quote on Instagram. She said, me protecting my peace, not being pregnant, and having fun all summer. Let that woman live, and I'd recommend that y'all ass need to live your life. I'm just saying. So let me segue, make a hard pivot here. So today, June 2nd, marks the end of the 3-day Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre 104 years ago. So it happened May 31st, June 1st, and 2nd it started May 31st, which was Memorial Day back in 1921. May 21st, June 1st, and June 2nd, it finally ended. 3 days, racial violence, which involved the local and state government, probably the federal government, where they literally flew planes over the Greenwood District, which is a neighborhood, a community inside the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was called Black Wall Street. They had so I got some stats. They had 2 movie theaters. They had a hospital. They had 30 restaurants. They had 21 restaurants just in this one community. Think of one big neighborhood. Or, just think of the south side of Chicago, or maybe Harlem or Brooklyn. Even smaller than that, just one neighborhood. It would be like Inglewood, my old neighborhood, or Hyde Park in Chicago. So anyway, Black Wall Street, They had 21, so I think it was 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 hotels, a hospital. You had, I think, like 7 people who owned, so you had a lot of homeowners, primarily, renters. So apparently there was oil in that area. So you had a lot of black folks that moved to Tulsa and got into the oil game and made a lot of money. It was like 7 black families that actually had airplanes in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're talking about 1921. So just these racist white nationalists and Ku Klux Klanners and just jealous ass bigots and racists literally burned the neighborhood down. And it was actually rebuilt. And then the U.S. government tore it down because they built a highway directly through the middle of Black Wall Street. So that happened 104 years ago. So like I said, June was started on Memorial Day, which is May 31st. So May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd, today marks the end of that horrible day in not just American history, in humanity, the Tulsa Race Massacre. Now, in 15 days, on June 17th, 10 years ago, in 2015, it was a different type of race massacre, not in a neighborhood or in a community, but inside of an iconic, legendarily, historically important, significant African-American church, Mother Emanuel. The Mother Emanuel, we call it Mother Emanuel AME Church, African Methodist Episcopal Church here in downtown Charleston. And 15 days, June 17th, that fateful evening, sometime after 8 o'clock, 9 beautiful souls, 9 fallen angels were literally massacred by this racist bastard who I won't even dignify by mentioning his name, who's sitting in prison, who admitted that he wanted to start a race war. Dumbass. So that happened 10 years ago. So here we are 10 years later. There's a docu-movie that's coming out on Wednesday that tells the story of one of the victims. There were 9 members, including the pastor of the church, Reverend Clemente Pinckney, along with several other members. And one of the members was another pastor. His name was Reverend Daniel Simmons. And his daughter, full disclosure, dear friend, who I consider we are family. You know, DNA don't make you family. So anyway, Rose Simmons and her team, over the last 2+ years, they've been working on this docu-movie, and it's called One Last Breath. And it tells the story of that fateful day. It's reenactments in the movie where they reenact this fateful night where these fallen angels were massacred and murdered, including her dad, Reverend Daniel Simmons. And then she uses that as a point to tell a more intimate story about her dad, and just more about just the impact that that event had on the world, not just here in Charleston, South Carolina, not just here in America, but globally. So I am so honored. I had her on my radio show earlier today, so I am so honored. There she is. We matching, y'all. Yeah, you see, just got that vibrant personality. Be sure to unmute your mic. So welcome, Rose Simmons. She is, I guess, the producer, filmmaker, along with her team. One Last Breath, and it's a story about your late dad. Rest in power to Reverend Daniel Simmons. So Rose family, thank you for coming on. I know it's been nonstop. You've been doing radio interviews, TV interviews, and getting the venue ready. You've got a big red carpet event, actually 2 screenings. So let's start. Just talk about the movie. Just tell us. I kind of gave people like a prelude, just a little introduction, but we want to hear from you and just let you speak from the heart Tell us what this docu-movie is all about.
Thank you, brother, so much, Geno, for having me on the show. We are family. We go back to that fateful day
Yeah.
back then, and we were able to discuss many things. And you have been such an encouragement to me to keep pushing me along through these past 10 years. And here we are about to launch into this new venture of this docu-movie about my dad's life, and even more important, about his heroic death. I am honored to be here. To all of your listeners, hello, listeners
And
uh,
viewers, because they
and
watching.
viewers. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your interest and your care and concern in hearing about this project. Uh, to begin at the beginning, I was deeply involved with the project that was executive produced by Stephen Curry and Viola Davis, entitled Emanuel, which hit theaters in
I
2019.
remember that. Yeah.
Yes, and directed by Brian Ivy. This was a great story, which really told the stories of multiple families in that showing. However, because there were so many families and multiple survivors, my father's story was not one of those that was featured in Emmanuel. And I believe that's when I decided right then. I said, if I ever get the opportunity, if the stars align for me, I'm going to do my father's story separately because he deserves that. And here we are, the stars have aligned. We are now in 2 days about to premiere this beautiful film about my dad's life. And as I said, his heroic death.
Now let me
And
just. I want to kind of just moonwalk back.
sure.
Let's take a little deeper dive because your dad was very prominent in the black church, and I know he's had great relationships. Not giving away the movie, but you're gonna see people like Pastor Jamal Bryant, just to name one. Very influential leaders in the black church, and your dad. They all looked up to your father. So I'll let you tell that
Yes.
story. You can tell it better than me.
Wow. You're on the right track. If this is a project where I learned so much about my father, and and not trying to give away my age, but I was 50 years old when my father passed away. So in 50 years of being with my dad, and here we are 10 years later, I'm learning so much about my father from his peers, and how he mentored young pastors, and even more so how he loved the AME church, and he was very knowledgeable about its existence and its goings and its comings and ins and outs. And the viewers and listeners will learn all of that as they watch the film. It, Gino, this is I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and love for this project, and because it really was deeply felt. And I think we talked about this earlier. I had to really compartmentalize my thoughts and my heart and even my emotions, and I had to step into that director's chair because I was determined to make sure that I told the story as accurately and as best to my ability to honor him. But once it was done and once it was completed, I was able to matriculate back into the role of a daughter. And that's when I couldn't stop crying. The more I watched it, to try, to fix the little things. Oh, I gotta fix this. Oh, I gotta fix that. But I was in the daughter role at that time. And every time I've watched this film, I have literally cried, and just thank God for being able to do such a project as this.
So it had to be so hard to compartmentalize while you are, you know, doing the edits and part of the production of this movie. And I could imagine how triggering it had to be. And I'm sure there were some times, if you don't mind, share a story. What was
Sure,
maybe your
sure.
lowest point, and when you didn't think that you could go on, when you were like, I can't do this. I just, if you don't mind,
Sure,
you want to
sure.
share that moment, or maybe more than one moment where that happened.
I don't think I had a moment where I thought that I wasn't going to make it to the end, because when I started, I set my mind to make it to the end. So there was no turning back for me. Now, I do have a few points where I really had to pull everything within myself to get through it. And that's when we were filming the shooting scene.
The
And
reenact. So
the reenactment.
you reenact that night
Yes,
when your
that
father,
night.
along with the other 8, were
Yes,
murdered inside Mother Emanuel in the basement
yes,
doing a Wednesday night Bible study.
exactly. You have that correct. I think it took us about 3 or 4 days to shoot that, because we have to deal with a lot of actors, and it was unscripted, so I had to, and I'll tell you this, according to court records, and I know because I was there those entire 3 weeks, we were in trial with the perpetrator, and the eyewitness testimonies, and also what the police officers from their Zoom cameras, I was able myself to see where all of the bodies lay.
And let me jump in here because this is important. This ties
Mhm,
into this point. So uh, we need to just even amplify what you're talking about.
mhm.
But there are 2 survivors. There were 2 women who he didn't kill because he wanted them to tell the world what happened. I want you to speak to
Right.
that, please.
Let me correct you. There were 3
3. Okay,
female
thank you.
survivors and 2 young children. So there were actually 5
Oh,
survivors.
wow. Okay.
Yes, yes. And as I was saying earlier, I was able to see in live time with the real blood on the floor,
Mm.
the victims where they lay, and also I was able to see my father. To have to get all of the actors in the mindset to reenact this part. And there was no one else on set who could transfer that information. So I had to do it.
Whew.
And yeah, yeah, I had to do it. And when you see something like that, you never forget it. So it was etched in my memory, in my vision, and in my hearing, listening to the like I said, the witness testimony, the attorneys, as they repeated everything. So I think my brain at that time was taking notes, and I was able to at our dates of shooting to actually allow that to be acted out. And I want to say this as well, because I'm a family member. I just happen to be a movie producer, but I am a family member. And this is definitely something that the family members, and I'm not speaking for them, but as a family member, I can imagine after 10 years, it's still very painful. But this is our story. And there's no other way to tell it than to tell the truth. And we have to tell the truth because we must let the world know what happened in that room, so that we can build a road and a bridge that this never happens again. It's difficult, I know, because I lost my dad, We were planning a father and daughter cruise. Actually,
Oh, wow.
we were going to go on a cruise. I was like, Daddy, I want to go on a cruise. He said, Yeah, I would like to go. I said, Well, hey, let's just me and you go. So I was looking forward to that. So these are the memories and the future things that I never got to do, with him. And of course, as I said, I was 50, early 50s when he passed away. So I've been on my own living my life as we all do when we leave home. I left home at 17. So there were some years where we didn't have a lot of interaction because, as you said earlier, he was in the AME church and Mr. AME if there was a title. Okay. If there was a title. So to venture back around, in my midlife and in his older years, for us to reclaim our daddy daughter life, I really miss that. But I am overwhelmed and grateful that God has given me this opportunity and the means and the memory and the strength and everything that it took, all of those adjectives, to be able to do this film. I'm humbled.
So Rose, I got to ask you, and I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to say it. I'm going to ask you twice, even though you know what I'm going to do because I did it earlier. I want to know, how are you doing? But I want to know, how are you really doing? Because a lot of times they'll say, okay, how you doing? And it's almost like a courtesy thing. And we just kind of, somebody say, oh, I'm okay. But sometimes your spirit could tell they're not okay, but they're just saying it. Sometimes maybe people don't want to feel like they're complaining or whatever. But I always, people I'm close to, connected to, family, whatever, if I pick up something in their spirit, I ask them, and I'm not picking up anything in your spirit, but I'm just imagining, just even to tell the story now, to relive it, and it's got to be triggering, but how are you really doing now?
Gino, I don't want to start crying on the show.
Well, that wasn't my goal, but it's important. I think it's important that
Yeah.
But if that's what it takes,
Yeah.
that's okay. And we have to create a safe space. So it's so important that if we're not good, then say, hey, you know what? If it's somebody that you know and you trust, it's hey, you know what? I'm not good. And that way that person can get the help that they need. Because in many cases, I'm sure it can save people's lives. So, but if listen, if you can, if it's too much, to answer that question honestly, then I'll move on. But I just, because we talk, we've been talking a lot over the last 2.5 years, and when we talk, I always ask you. I say, how you really doing?
Gino, in doing this film, it really it really made me bring. I had to take everything. I needed everything inside of me. I needed all of my hope, all of my love, all of my forgiveness, all of my coping mechanisms. I needed everything to complete this because there were challenges, of course, along the way. But once I settled it and I made that decision, I said, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to quit until it's done. Then the overflowing emotions, they came out of me. And I tell you again, I probably have watched the film about 30 times.
Wow.
And every time I cry, every time.
Wow.
How am I doing? I feel blessed. I feel I'm honored. I have other projects that are in the works of coming along. And I want to say this to your listeners. I didn't wake up one morning and said, hey, I want to be a film producer. I want to make movies. I never said that. But I did wake up as a daughter saying, what must I do to tell my dad's story. And it just happened to be make a film. And that's where I am. So but I've been called a movie producer, director. So I guess I have to accept that
Right. Look out,
because I
Spike Lee
did make a movie.
right and Ryan Coogler and all of them. Will Packer, look out, because here's Rose Simmons. Rose doing this film about that night of the Mother Emanuel Massacre, and as an extension, story about your dad, who was one of the victims. Was there any healing? Did this help you in any way heal? And if so, how?
Well, I think my healing started years earlier.
Okay.
I think I was according to my faith, because uh, even though he's not in this world, he is in another world, and I will see him again one day, and that brings hope and encouragement to me. So my healing started years before the film. The film, of course, magnifies it, and it brings it current because it has been 10 years. But I would definitely have to say my healing started years before the film. Yeah.
And did it help maybe give you any type of closure, or did what did was it something that you noticed that it did for you once you finished that you didn't have when you started?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think there's ever closure.
No.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I would agree. Yeah.
I haven't felt any closure. Um, but what I do feel, if we're talking about the film, what I do feel with the film being complete, I feel released. I feel released because even though I decided, as I said back when in the Emmanuel days, it was still a process that I had to go through, and now that is finished, I feel released, and I'm saying, oh my God, we did it, and now I can move on to other projects, and one of them is a huge one, and it surrounds the shooting as well. But this is more of a TV series than a film. Yeah,
Wow.
so it's a big project, and I wrote it, and here we go again. I didn't wake up saying that I wouldn't be a writer of TV series and things, but here we are. God just put it in my path, and that's the way I saw it. I said, here's this incredible moment in history, because those 9 souls and those 5 survivors, they will forever be in history.
Yes.
And here is this incredible history that somehow has been placed not only in my lap, but all of the family members. And I think it's our responsibility as family members of what we choose to do with that history. And so many of the family members have done great things for their relatives. We have Cynthia Hurd has the library, and I know that the Sanders are doing this great thing for their son. And then of course the survivors, Jennifer Pinckney, Reverend Pinckney's widow, she's doing numerous things for her husband's memory. So we have so many things that are happening, and the other family members, even I didn't mention them, but they're still working in in their family's history.
Right. I
So
wanted
this
to,
was
Rose, if
something,
you don't mind,
yeah,
because help me. I don't have all the names in front of me, but I want to honor those 9 souls,
sure,
because their spirit is with us.
of
Your
course.
dad's spirit is not just with you; it is in you, and it's so important that I speak of my grandparents all the time, because their spirit is like inside me 24/7. I know it, I can feel it. I sound just like my grandparents. I'm always quoting something Conway
Me too.
Jones or Gene Jones, who I'm named after my grandmother, said. So, and you speak with the same reverence about your dad. So
Yeah.
I would love to honor those 9 fallen angels who are not here with us in the flesh, but their spirit and their soul is not just with us, it's inside of us, and it has given us the superpower to move on and to do everything we can to make sure this never happens again. So if you don't mind, can we acknowledge those beautiful 9 souls?
Yes. And now the way that I remember them, I start with the 5 ministers, and then I go to the other 4. And somehow I always miss one, but if you give me a minute,
Well, listen,
I am
I
getting
didn't mean to
older.
put you on the spot. I
It's
should have.
okay. We do this all the time, and I'm human just like everyone else. So we'll start with the 5 ministers. Reverend Clemente Pinckney, Reverend Daniel Simmons Sr., Reverend Myra Thompson, Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor, and there's one more Reverend. I'll get to that.
Her son played baseball.
No, Reverend Sharonda Coleman Singleton.
Yes, Chris,
That's
her son. I had the honor to meet a couple
there
times.
you go. That's
Yeah.
the 5 ministers. And we have Ethel Lance. We have Cynthia Hurd. We have Susie Jackson. And here goes the last one. Oh boy, it's always the 9th one. It is always one of those 4. I'll remember it in a second.
Tawanza?
Tawanza Sanders.
Yeah.
There we go.
The youngest. The youngest.
The youngest.
Yeah, the youngest.
So we have all 9.
Yeah. See, girl, I knew you had it in you. and then the survivors, if we
survivors.
What?
Sure.
Sometimes, several years back, you and one of the survivors,
Miss Polly.
Miss Polly,
yes. Shepherd.
Miss Polly. We love you, Miss Polly. She got a beautiful spirit.
Love you,
That's
Miss
such
Polly.
a beautiful. Oh my God, such a beautiful spirit,
and such a strong woman. And she's been able to take this incredible thing that has happened to her, and move forward with such positivity. And I admire her so much.
Yeah, she has. I remember when you brought her to the radio station and just meeting her, it was just her spirit. Just it touched me and almost brought me to tears. She really her spirit reminded me of my mother, but especially my grandmother. My grandmother, my mother would tell you, she just had that just unique, warm, loving, humble. But you could tell she was a true woman of God. That was her purpose. Yeah. And she walked in it, and oh my God, it just, like I said, she made me think a lot of my grandmother. So, all right, so let's talk about, so the movie is going to be out. Everybody, the world can stream it on Wednesday, but here in Charleston, we got two special red carpet showings. So tell everybody about the red carpet showings, and if they want to attend, how they can attend. And then, but tell everybody, as of Wednesday, it'll be available and where they can stream it. And you can let us know about when this is going to be released in theaters around the country.
Mm-hmm. We are streaming beginning Wednesday, June 4th, from my website, which is entitled by the film onelastbreath.org. We're also in negotiations for other streaming platforms, which we'll probably have settled by the end of the month. And those will be YouTube, Tubi, Amazon Prime. You know, there's so many things you have to go through.
Yeah, I know.
To get on those. So we're just asking the world to stay in prayer for us and that we get to that point. Also, you are welcome to attend the red carpet event, which will be Wednesday in 2 days, June the 4th, at the American Theater, which is on King Street in Charleston, downtown Charleston, South Carolina. We have 2 showings. One is at 1:00 p.m. and the other is 3:00 p.m. And we are looking forward to you coming. The cost is $25, and you can pay at the door. That's fine with us.
All right, there you go. And You guys are working on a limited. I guess what you said earlier, we were talking about a limited release in theaters nationwide. Do you have an idea what some of the cities you're looking at?
Yes, we are. Let's see. In June, we'll be in Oklahoma, of course, a couple of other cities in South Carolina. Lockdown one, which is Mullins, South Carolina, which is our home, and I have to talk about that as well. We will also be in New York, New York. I think that's in July, and we'll be in somewhere else. I can't
I'm sure you're
remember.
going to do Atlanta, maybe Chicago,
Yes,
hopefully.
Atlanta and Chicago, Philadelphia. Yes, and these are select theaters, and these are people who have requested that we come to their city and show the film.
I love it. I
And
love
so
it.
when they do that, then we get the theater.
Okay. Is LA by any maybe LA, Houston, Dallas, New Orleans? Are any of those cities on those?
Dallas, we're definitely doing Dallas.
Okay.
We are looking at Montana. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yes. And LA somewhere in there. Yes.
Okay.
So if you want the film in your city, go to onelastbreath.org, request a theater, and you don't really have to pick one out. Just say, I want the film in my city, and we'll talk to you from there, and we'll get that film in your city.
You know who did that like recently? The movie Sinners. So, but what happened? It was so the movie is set in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Mhm.
So they don't have a movie theater in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It's a small town. So the people in that community and some other people in the state, they reached out to Ryan Coogler. So I think later this month, I don't know the exact date, but I know it's going to be later this month. They're going to have like an all day, like a big festival showing the movie, the actual movie in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where the movie was set at. So just you talking about that makes me think about that.
Yeah. And things are different now than they were with Emanuel, because I was on about 85% of those sets when we were filming that from 2016 to 2018. And their thing was to get in, well, they were in over 1,000 theaters across the country. But even that's changed just in this little bit of time. People are doing more streaming than they are going to the movies. And that's the way I decided to go.
Well, no, I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant because you can even reach more people. So once
Even
again,
more,
they can, what is it, onelastbreath.org?
Yes.
So go to
One
that
Last
website
Breath.
and they'll be able to stream the movie beginning this Wednesday.
Beginning Wednesday.
Listen, quick before you get out of here. So Rosalind Anderson, one of my regular viewers, she says, you have my sincere sympathy. I knew your father when he pastored St. Stephen's AME Church in Georgetown, South Carolina.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Rosalind, thank you so much. And Geno, I have to tell you this. When in filming this, oh my God, it was so hard finding people to come tell the stories about my dad. And I contacted all of he pastored 8 churches.
So why was it so hard?
I don't know.
Maybe it was just too, I mean, the way we lost him, it might have been just too hard for them to try to even speak on him. They may have been so heartbroken they couldn't even talk.
Yeah, I'm thinking that may be part of the reason, but I think it was more of the communication. I just wasn't able, and believe me, I did research at least a year before we started filming. So that's a year of research and then 2 years of filming. Oh boy, because we're thinking about his age, then let's think about the times. We back when he was ministering, he's been retired. He was probably retired at least 12, 13 years, maybe 15 years before he passed away.
Okay.
And look at us, even in 2000, who was doing this with cameras and phones?
Yes.
And he was already elderly. So how many elderly people are taking pictures of themselves and Facebook and everywhere? So for me to to pull all of this information together, believe me, that was the hardest part of getting this film done. And that's why I'm so grateful that finally in the end I was able to you know find people to talk about him.
Well,
Yeah.
you did it. So listen, my number one fan, my executive producer, as I call her, my
Okay.
mom, is she just said first of all, she lifts you and your family up in prayer. She's like, this conversation is very interesting. So she also wants to know, do you have a date when it's coming to Chicago?
I don't have a Chicago date, but I do have a Chicago contact.
Okay.
So it will definitely be in Chicago, mainly because I want to go to Chicago. Okay.
So our mother will let you know. So
Yeah,
and I know you'll let me know. We'll bring
sure.
you back on, and you can announce when you get some other cities locked down. So, because she definitely wants to go see it. Really, all my sisters and my nieces and nephews, I know are excited. But my mother, I know that post means I got to make sure that she
You
sees
gotta
it.
make sure.
that when it,
And they can always stream it on the 4th and
Oh,
then
that's
see
right.
it
Yeah,
again.
that's right.
Yeah.
One of my nieces lives with my mother. So just have Perry Brittany. She can go to the website, mother, and she can stream it for you. You and her can watch it together.
Yeah.
OneLastBreath.org. OneLastBreath.org. And I'm not going to say anything, but if you stream it, mother, there'll be a little surprise. you might see somebody in there that you recognize. So I'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that. I will too.
uh, Rose, before I let you get out of here, I guess because I've been thinking about this. What do you want people to take away from this docu-movie after they watch it? If anything, is there a message? Is there a theme? Is there something? I'm sure it is that you want people. You hope that they take away from this docu-movie after they see it. What would that be?
I want people to understand that we live our lives every day and we go about our business and we do our things. My father was in Bible study. I know since I've been a young girl when I didn't want to go, to Bible study with him. So this church was his thing. And that's all he did. He was living an everyday life. But you know what? He championed it. And that is what you're going to see in this film. He was the everyday unsung hero. And it took his death to put him on the map. And I'm going to make sure everybody understands. I grew up very well, my father and my mother, they had great jobs when I was a little girl in the 70s. And I didn't know we were well off until I was an adult and figured out that I wasn't. Okay. Okay. But my father championed his everyday life. He conquered everything that came against him with everything against him. And I want people to understand the fierceness of his determination to make sure that he provided for his family. He took care of all of his responsibilities and he died a death that was given or would be given to a hero. That's what I want them to take away.
Thank you, Rose. Man, I love you, my sister. I've been honored to just be a small part of this journey. It's a journey I wish that you never had to take. Of course, so do you, and so do many others, all the family members and those fallen angels. We talked about it. Shout out to your husband's a pastor, and then you got the head of your marketing, Pastor Myron. And I asked him because I said my mother, one of her pearls of wisdom is she said, Jeannie, God don't make no mistakes. But I remember asking Pastor Myron, I was like, what would you say to somebody that would ask you, how could God allow something so horrible to happen to 9 beautiful souls who were worshiping God on a Wednesday night inside of a church, reading the Word and Scripture, and open their door to a total stranger who sat there with them reading Scripture and praying. And then after they prayed together, then he turned on them and massacred 9 of them. How could God let something like that happen? And I know it's not so much that God lets it happen. It's just, I forgot, your husband, I think, and if you can remember, you can help me.
Beauty.
He had, I think he really framed it. It was so simple and succinct, but it made sense. He said, God, what did he turned?
He gives beauty for ashes.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He took something that was so horrible, ashes, and turned it into something beautiful. The movie, just your
Their
journey,
lives,
your spirit.
Yeah. How it changed the world.
Yes.
It led the world towards, here you have 9 beautiful souls, and the way I said, or seeds.
Yes.
And they were planted to grow up a harvest of forgiveness. And that's what their lives registered here on this planet.
One last breath, everybody. onelastbreath.org. One last breath, all one word, .org, Wednesday. So as of this Wednesday, June, what's it, the 5th? No, the 4th. The 4th. Today's the 2nd. So as of Wednesday, June 4th, you can stream the movie. It'll be coming to a city near you soon. Just keep watching this show. Rose's family, so she'll be back on. If you live in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area, or if you want to drive down or fly down, as of now, there's still tickets. $25 admission for the red carpet screening this Wednesday, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. at the American Theater downtown on King Street, correct?
That's it. Yes.
Okay, so, and if I left anything else out, where people can follow you on social media, please let us know.
One Last Breath. Yes. We're on social media, Facebook at One Last Breath. All of the information is there. And we'd love to see you. We have limited seats. So if you're coming, come on. Yeah.
So that means don't show up on CP time, man, because you can't. I wanted to see it. Well, it started at 1 and you got there at 2:30, and the other one started at 3, and then the rest of y'all got there at 4. Then
and dress up.
That's right. It's a red carpet event.
Red carpet.
Go on and put your summertime. It's gonna be warm. Get your white linen. Get your little summer suits on with your little peach colored suits. And ladies, you rock your sundresses, or you even your little church Sunday. How do what you do. Do you?
Do what you do.
Do you?
That's right.
But it's really, and I haven't seen the movie, but to see you smile, Rose, I can tell. I mean, even though it's a story that's centered around one of the most horrendous events in human history, it's a celebration. It's a celebration of the life of one of the members, your dad, and it's really celebrating all the lives and, like you said, celebrating a message of forgiveness, which is better than me, because I have to be honest. I don't think I could ever get to forgiveness. I mean, God and Jesus could come down here in the flesh and try to talk to me, and we might have a falling out. They be like, this one ain't no hope for this one. He just don't. Yeah, he gonna press down because it just says something about so many people like yourself and the family members. And not everybody, because I learned that even with that first documentary, and it's because, and you can speak to this, and I always tell people, grieving is personal. And there's no one way to grieve. There's no textbook. There's no manual. No two people, just like no two fingerprints are the same. No two people, nobody grieves the same, and there's no right or wrong way. And none of us are in a position to tell anybody how they should grieve a loved one, because you'll never know how it hit them. Just because it hits you one way, it's not going to hit you the same way it hits somebody else. And people, they grieve differently, Rose. And I'm sure you can speak to that better than I can.
Well, I think we can all speak on forgiveness because we've all experienced it upon ourselves, and we've all offered forgiveness. But there are different degrees of forgiveness, and I think you have to. I call it the forgiveness muscles. It's like when you go to the gym. I mean, you can't lift your heaviest weight your first day. You got to work yourself up to that. So you have to start with the small things in forgiveness, the little things. And then when the big thing comes, then see, now you're prepared, because what you really understand when that big thing comes, that act of forgiveness is releasing you from that thing.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Now we want to forgive the other person, sure. And that's another level of forgiveness. But I think the first few stages is understanding that as long as you stay in unforgiveness has tentacles, and it will keep you attached to that thing that has offended you. So the first level of forgiveness is for you to declare your independence against or from or away from the offense. Once you get in that zone and get on that road, now you have an open avenue to understand, according to your faith, Christ's forgiveness to us, which, thank God, he's not reading my book out loud. Thank God he keeps that private, okay? But it helps you to navigate to your level where you can handle the forgiveness. And eventually, I promise you, once you get past certain levels, you just go on in and just let it all happen. So I had to learn that. And I'm actually writing a book about those levels of forgiveness to help people to understand you don't have to jump right in, because you've got to learn some things about forgiveness first. And the first thing is, how can I release myself from this offense that will keep me bound and not functioning as properly in the things that I need to function in?
Yeah. Because forgiveness is not for the person that harmed you or grieved you. Forgiveness is for you, like you said, and I'm so glad you said that. You spoke like a pastor. The doors of the church are open, because this sister, you spoke the truth. It is for you, because when you hold on to that anger, but I'm just being, I don't know, it would really take some kind of divine intervention, because I can only imagine just the anger and the rage and the thirst for revenge and justice, all those, but it can consume you, and it literally can kill you on the inside, mentally.
Well, let me help you, Geno, because I want to tell you something. You operate in this level of forgiveness every day, because you're on the air and you're helping people that may have the same problem or the same situation. I wouldn't say problem, or have the same shortcoming, if you want to say it that way. By you expressing your feelings, okay, your inward part and your heart, you give your heart to people every day. What is that other than forgiveness? What is that other than opening the doors for other people to see themselves, for you to be a mirror where they see themselves and say, hey, what Geno's saying is right. I need to look at this thing a little further. I'm not the only one struggling. When people know that they are not the only one going through,
True.
they tend to come up with a solution or allow solutions to find them. And that's what you're doing every day.
Well,
And we applaud you.
well, this whole conversation is not about me. I received that humbly, but I just thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of a journey. I always want to make sure that I center and that I honor and I recognize that even though you are in a wonderful space, it's all day to day, and I'm sure even now you still have your moments. So I always want to uh, respect that part and make sure that I'm giving room and respecting that as still a man that was your everything. And and you said it earlier, and I'm glad you corrected me. You never get over, and I should know that. I didn't get over losing my grandmother and my grandfather. I just the energy is
Just
different.
go on.
Yeah, Joe Biden said something that was really profound here when he was running. Um, uh, what was it, 2020, at a building someplace downtown, talking about loss because he lost a wife and a daughter and car crashed and his son Bo came
Yeah.
back from I think Desert Storm or Afghanistan and came down with this deadly cancer. And he said one day when you think about that loved one, he said one day a smile will come to your face before a tear comes to your eye.
Wow. That's
And
that's beautiful.
when that hit me because that's my grandparents. Now, when I think of my grandparents, when I think of Conway Jones and Gene Jones, a smile always comes to my face. And just you and I talking about your dad, you've been
Yeah.
smiling the whole time. I mean,
Oh
there've
yeah.
been tears. You've been smiling through the tears. But
Happy
I
tears.
can,
Happy
yes,
tears.
I can hear and feel the joy uh, that you have in talking about your dad and his influence, not just on you, but on the AME Church and just on the world. So, no, I get that. So, thank you for that. Thank you for letting me be a part of this. So, Wednesday, everybody, onelastbreath.org. You can stream it. Come to Charleston if you can. Wednesday, you can get information about the screening. They can go to that website, One Last Breath, and get all the information. Right.
That's right. That's
Thank
right.
you, Rose. I know you got a big week, so I have monopolized. Thank you to your husband and your team and Pastor Myron and Tangelica and everybody.
Uh,
Thank them. So y'all have a copy of the show so y'all can make it go viral and chop it up. But thank you, my sister. Man, I love you, and I just keep
Love you
lifting
too,
you up in
Geno.
prayer
Thank you.
and just looking at you and how you manage this, it's an inspiration for me because it's a different kind of strength. People talk when they think about strength, it's like how much weight can you lift and how hard you can hit. Man, this is a different kind of strength here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is and the gym can't help you with this. I don't give a damn how much weight you can lift or how much you can leg press. This is a different kind of strength, buddy. Don't and that gym will not help your ass at all. This is the kind of strength if you're not tapped into something
Yeah.
bigger than yourself, it'll
That's it.
bring you to your knees or worse.
You preaching now. You got it. You got it.
I got it. I figured it out.
Got it. You got it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rose. I love you, my sister. Well,
Thank you.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Sure enough.
I'm gonna make that second screening.
Okay.
And for those watching, I'm gonna. We had a beautiful conversation too. But if you watch the show, you got it. But I'm gonna play the long form version in 2 parts on my radio show on Tuesday, about 11:30ish, 11:35, and then part 2 around 12:35 on Tuesday afternoon on Star 99.7. You can actually download that app, Star 997 FM, Star 997 Just download that, or WX like extra, S like Sam, and T like Teddy, WXST FM, that app. Rose Simmons, one last breath. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy your evening. Get you some rest. You've earned it. All right. Oh, man. She's got a beautiful spirit. I mean, she's always smiling and whoo, but just losing. And you could tell her and her dad were inseparable, you know, just, it's like I said, that's a different kind of strength to be able to smile through that pain. And I can imagine it's still pain. It's got to be, she's human. And she absolutely adored her dad, and to be able to smile through the tears and push on. But she turned that pain into purpose. So that's a lesson that we all can learn. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you. So my mother posted something, I guess, speaking to, I was talking about why would God allow something so horrible to happen to these 9 beautiful souls inside of a church at the end of a Bible study, and they opened the doors to this demon and read scripture with him and engaged in Bible study with them. And then at the end of Bible study, they all held hands and they prayed with this demon. And at the end of the prayer, he pulls out a gun and he murders 9 people. And he allows the other 5, which I didn't realize, to live, and told them he wants them to tell the world about what he did. So Mother said it wasn't God, it was Satan that had to be innocent to show his strength in all that. I'm trying to read it all here. But I get what you're saying, Mother. You know, because, you know, I guess you're saying that all the things that happen is not of God. Satan is busy, and like my mother has always told me, and she's taught me, she said Satan's #1 job is to kill, steal, and destroy. And unfortunately, that night he did all 3 of them: killed, stole the lives, and destroyed families in so many ways. So I got it. Thank you, Mother, for that lesson there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Once again, live show Tuesday and Wednesday. So there'll be no live show this Thursday, this Friday, no live show a week from today, no live show a week from next Tuesday, no live show a week from next Wednesday. So no live show this Thursday or Friday or next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So after this Wednesday, my next live show is going to be the following Thursday, which is June 12th. So, but don't worry. You can come to my channel, the Best of the Geno Jones Show. I got 4.5 years of great episodes, great guests, great conversation. So you can binge watch any or all of your favorite episodes. Spread the word to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe and share, screen grab, rip some of the video, like, binge watch all my back episodes. Once again, if you would like to be a part of the Geno Jones Show family as a sponsor or an advertiser, I'd love to have you. I will send you a sponsorship package. Shoot me an email at my Gmail, GenoJonesShow@gmail, GenoJonesShow@gmail. By the way, if you would like to make a financial contribution, you can do it via Zelle. Just type in my name, Geno Jones, and then you can Zelle the contribution using my email address, GenoJonesShow@gmail. That's Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell Geno Jones Show. No the. GenoJonesShow@gmail. Or you can Cash App your contribution, your financial gift. You can Cash App it. Now, my Cash App address is $Dad G Jones. So it's $, capital D like Daddy, lowercase a like Apple, lowercase d. So I'm going to go back. So it's $, capital D like Daddy, lowercase a like Apple, lowercase d like David, capital G like Geno, capital J like Jones, lowercase o like Oprah, lowercase n like Nanette, lowercase e like Elephant, lowercase s like Steve. Got that? That's $Dad G Jones. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you so much. Hello, Great Hustle. Don't put the information in the chat. Email me your contact information. Great Hustle 843 Geno Jones Show at Gmail. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Rose Simmons and her team. Make sure you stream the movie on Wednesday, onelastbreath.org. The movie has their own website. You can stream the movie there, onelastbreath.org. It'll be coming to many cities near you, New York City, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, and some other cities. I will, as soon as I get the full itinerary, I'll let you know, or I'll bring Rose back on the show, and she'll give you all the information. But there's a screening, 2 red carpet screenings here in Charleston, South Carolina, the America Theater, downtown, on King Street, downtown Charleston, the American Theater. You can type that into your navigation, Waze, or whatever navigation you got, Samsung, Apple, whatever navigation you got, Google Maps, or whoever maps you got. The American Theater, downtown Charleston, South Carolina, this Wednesday, 1 p.m., 3 p.m., red carpet showing. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you live. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram. Kel B Cutting Up, the CEO of Designer Cuts, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the show. Check out her Lexi Jones collection. L like Lexi, X dot N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi underscores that little dash like that. So it's L X dot N C L underscore. And shout out to Bruce Gage, wardrobe consultant, stylist for the show. The Mario Uomo collection. This blazer is from the Mario Uomo collection. Mario Uomo on Instagram. That's M-A-R-I-O. Mario Uomo is U, spelled with a U. It's an Italian surname. So Mario U like umbrella, O like Oprah, M like Mary, O like Oprah again. So Mario U-O-M-O. All right, we'll see you live Tuesday. Copy and paste this link. Share this episode on everybody that follows you on social media. Share it on your page, on their page. Tag their page. Copy and paste the link. Put it in an email, in a text message, or Facebook Messenger, or Instagram Messenger, or on TikTok. Copy and paste the link and give them my Cash App address, please, so they can make a contribution, financially support the show. Either Cash App or Zelle. Cash App, $Dad G Jones, all one word, $, capital D, lowercase A-D, capital G, capital J, lowercase O like Oprah, N like Nanette, E like elephant, S like Sam. Or on Zelle, just use my email address, Geno Jones, and then type in Geno Jones Show at Gmail. We'll see you Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, live right here.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.